So if you've been following our videos regarding our purchase of the Rockwood Geo Pro, you've probably seen we've had quite a bit of problems with it. Regardless of that, here's some of the things I just wanted to summarize in this video to kind of give you an idea before you purchase a camper. Seriously consider. One, keep in mind warranty on these campers is a joke. Buying new, there is no peace of mind. So generally don't spend the money on it because you're going to be dealing with a lot of the maintenance yourself. If you're not a handyman, if you don't know how to use tools, if you can't figure it out or watch a YouTube video to figure it out, if that's not within your skill set, I would highly recommend never buying a travel trailer. At all. If you can't maintain it, forget it. Also, when you go to buy, if you're insisting on buying from an RV dealership or whatever, and you might be using their service center, that's the first place you need to look at, is their service center. They can have sharp looking guys in the sales floor that look like they have some sense about them, and their service department can be a complete set of idiots. By idiots, I mean idiots. There's no nice spin you can put on this. I purchased the Geo Pro without the lift kit, without the off-road package, because I figured it had everything else I wanted and I wasn't going to be doing off-road. Don't do that. If you're insistent on getting a Geo Pro, which I would highly recommend not doing, but if you end up getting one anyway, definitely get it with the off-road package, regardless if you're going to be doing off-road or not. It is too low to the ground. You're going to be scraping everywhere you go if you get the normal package. You want that lift kit. You really, really do. With that being said, when we got back from our trip, we went ahead and took it in for warranty. I gave them a punch list of about 15 items that needed to be fixed. I also went ahead and ordered just the lift blocks to raise it another 2 5/8 inches. We didn't get bigger tires or anything like that, but the extra 2 5/8 inches is going to be a big deal when just pulling out of a McDonald's or anything with this camper. It has terrible clearance without that lift kit. I'll show you some of the workmanship I initially dealt with this dealership regarding this RV. There was an issue with the drawer. I asked them to fix it, and this is what they did. So this is the issue I ran into. The drawer, which I've kind of fixed now, wasn't latching on this side. The little runner back here was put back a little further back. So this little button right here wasn't grabbing it because this was mounted all the way up here. You see, you got a very thin area to work with where that runner basically bolts to on this cabinet. And then back in the back, right there, it's got the little board that the rail connects to back there. They decide to move the rail that is connected to the outside of the cabinet. Well, the hole, when you move the rail forward, the hole comes forward and you have nothing to screw to. Well, as you saw in the very front of the cabinet, it's just a little thin piece of stuff. It's not really strong. And so then they put the screw in crooked. It was also crossing the hole that was already there. So it was basically they stripped the hole. They literally stripped the hole. Now, this is why I say they were idiots. Because why would they move the rail that's connected to the cabinet housing when it's only got 2 small areas that you can even anchor to? And anybody with common sense knows you can only put so many holes in a small area of wood before nothing's going to catch anymore. When they had these drawers that are completely made out of plywood, and all they had to do was adjust the rail that was connected to the drawer. Look at that. I got all these different holes I can try. And so this is where the screw was, and this rail was put way up here at the front. And so it couldn't catch. It was all the way up there. And so all they had to do was take the screws out holding this rail, and they have all this surface of real estate here that they could have screwed this to. Nice, decent, solid plywood, unlike this right here, which I'm pretty sure is particle board. Now, let's come forward to the future. I ordered the lift kit. I have them install it. They call me up and saying, your stairs aren't going to reach. I'm like, the stairs extend like 6 inches. Those legs, you can go out like 6 inches or so. The lift kit, and I mean 6 inches more to the ground, not just 6 inches at an angle. You could easily raise this camper 6 more inches and it would still reach. So they call me and say, your stairs don't reach. I'm like, what do you mean my stairs don't reach? They're not long enough. They don't reach. We raise this camper up and your stairs won't reach. I'm like, okay, the stairs have legs that extend. Did you extend the legs? Oh yeah, we extended the legs. Your stairs do not reach. They don't even come close to reaching. They're like 4 inches too short. What? 4 inches too short? I can extend those legs like 6 inches. How are they 4 inches too short? Your legs don't reach. We put that lift kit on, those legs don't reach. So I looked at pictures of Geo Pros and I saw some that had the off-road package, had like a 45-degree leg that made those leg extensions even go down further. So I said, well, maybe you have to have these. Can you order these? And they found out apparently you can't order those. I'm like, okay, that's odd. But I still don't understand how those legs don't reach, because I've been parked on slopes where the back end of that trailer was a foot off the ground higher than level because the hill was sloped like this. And yeah, I maybe had to put a 2x4 block under it, but that was it. One 2x4 block. Under normal circumstances, if we're only raising this camper 2 5/8 inches, there's no reason those steps wouldn't reach on level ground. They should reach. So I drive 2.5 hours to Council Bluffs. I'm not going to say the dealership's name. They're in Council Bluffs, so beware if you're shopping for campers in Council Bluffs. And if the dealership you go to at any place you're shopping matches this kind of description, stay away from them because they'll be idiots. 5-hour drive round trip. And I look at the camper. I take my measuring tape out. It's 5.5 inches above the axle. Where the axle would normally bolt to the trailer, there's a 5.5 inch gap. I ordered a 2 5/8 inch lift kit. Why is there a 5.5 inch gap? So the lift kit is a universal lift kit, and it came with a couple extra plates. They decided that it all must go on there, rather than maybe contacting the manufacturer, maybe looking for some instructions, maybe using common sense and using a 2 5/8 lift kit should only raise it an additional 2 5/8 inches. All that eluded them. And they took, as you see in the pictures here, if you can make it out, I took these on my iPhone so it's a little rough. They took the lift kit, put it on top of the bracket, then attached this plate that was for if you're going to put it on a different camper altogether, that's 1/8 inch thick, and then attach the camper about 4 inches high on this plate to this 1/8 inch thick plate. They attach the camper. Look at this. Look at the lift they put on there. That is a 4-inch lift. Is that even safe? Look at that, almost 5.5 inches. This lift is 2.5 inches too high. Almost 3 inches too high. So you have a 3,000-pound camper sitting on a 1/8 inch thick, 4-inch high piece of metal. Do you realize what that would have done as soon as I went around a curve? And they were too stupid to figure out that's not right. I had to drive 2.5 hours and looked at that, and within 2 seconds I said, dude, this is a safety hazard. Common sense should tell you, one, it's a major safety hazard. You can't take a 3,000-pound trailer and expect it to sit on only an 1/8 inch thick piece of metal and actually be sturdy. Second, it was a 2 5/8 inch lift kit, and the fact that it's 5.5 inches high now means something is wrong. So then they call Rockwood, and Rockwood goes, oh no, here's the pictures. This is how it's supposed to be done. That's a universal kit. I'm not a mechanic. I've never installed a lift kit on anything in my life. I've never even looked at a lift kit at anything before in my life, ever. It's not something I do. It's not something I've ever seen. It's not something I've ever done. And I could immediately look at it and say, this is wrong and this is why. So now, let's move forward a little further. When I took the camper in, there were about 15 items that needed fixed. I think this is most of the tickets here. I'm going to just read them off. This is what you get for warranty work on a brand new camper. Complaint, concern, bed pulling away from wall. Correction, checked everything, no problem found. Bed is not connected to wall. Seriously? Let's look at that. And this is the bed. If I can get the camera in there, which I can't. But see that gap? There are actually screws that are connected from here to there. These screws, I can actually touch the screw right there and touch the thread where the screw has literally been pulled loose from the wall, where this bed attaches the wall. So I don't know what trailer they were looking at, but yes, all they had to do was look. Next one. Concern. Inverter fell off wall. Taped. I didn't tape it. I don't know what that means. I don't know. And you explain this thing. They're worse than doctors. You tell them something and they write down something completely different. Pulled paneling out of the little closet. No problem found with inverter. Let's flash back to that footage in case you guys didn't see it. And the only way you can get to the inverter is you have to go into the closet and pull off everything. Look at this. Look at this. I'm trying to find the, look at this. Look at this crap. Okay, so I just was trying to deal with the ones on this side, and this one literally just fell off the wall on this side with maybe me moving it. I mean, it literally would have fallen off probably in the next 200 miles. The whole inverter would have fallen off and then crushed the heater pipe. This is how they decided to reattach the panel in my closet. It looks worse now than even when after I tried to take it out. Concerns. Drawers are falling out. Both galley taped. I don't know why this is taped. Anyway, both galley drawers. Wants estimate on upgrading drawer guides so they are stronger. Bottom drawer guide was bad. Top drawer guides okay. Replaced bottom drawer guides and repaired top ones. Okay. They never contacted me. They did replace the bottom drawer guides with nicer ones. They never charged me. But I explicitly said to them several times on the phone and in person, I want better drawer guides. I will pay you to install better drawer guides. I don't want those drawer guides. Just replace them. Whether they're good, bad, or otherwise, or just need to be retached, I do not care. Replace them with better drawer guides if they exist, and I will pay for it. At this point, you're probably asking, why didn't I have them fix it while I was there? When I went to pick this up, without getting sidetracked too much in this conversation yet, when I went to pick this up, after they said it was ready, this is the second time I went down there, 2.5 hour drive, I still had to wait 3 hours to get one other issue resolved. I gave up on the rest. I figure I'll just fix them myself. The Wi-Fi signal on the device drops, and the Wi-Fi has to be reset by turning it off and on. Customer says there's a problem with Wi-Fi, tested, found no problem. The fact that I will get it still fixed, I'm going to call Wi-Fi Ranger and just tell them it needs to be replaced, and they'll send it to me. I'm going to do it with a lot of these little things that they tested and couldn't find the problem. But why am I doing it? Why do I have to call Wi-Fi Ranger? Why do I have to call the door lock people? Why do I have to deal with that phone call just to say it's defective, this was what it's doing, send me a new one, when that's their job? Concern, paneling facing the kitchen sink popped off. Basically, they restapled the panel. That one they did okay. However, they did not even caulk the holes in the paneling after they restapled it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for not finishing the job. This is the staple job. That they didn't even bother to put caulk in the holes where they just stapled this back to fix it. The 110 outlet on the kitchen is not secure. There are gaps. Please reinstall with no gaps. And the receptacle plate is broke. So anyway, he says the receptacle is broke. They removed it and replaced it and tested good. So, yes, it is finally fixed. It does seem to be more secure now. However, the plastic cover still pops off like it did with the first one. And as soon as I got home, this was laying on the floor because it had already popped off the receptacle. Regarding electrical outlets in a home or a mobile home or anything that's not industrial, there is no code saying what is up and what is down. However, common sense, we'll go back to that thing that apparently is lacking in the fix-it industry. Common sense tells you there is no reason you put the ground on top. There's not a metal faceplate involved. Not to mention, there's no code. There's no code. But there is a right and a wrong. You know why? Go buy a refrigerator. What direction does the cord hang down? What happens when you put that receptacle upside down? Now the cord is going up like this and hanging back down against gravity. Regarding household, putting it with the ground upside down is not correct. And it is a little bit not correct, not just because of personal preference, because the industry is not designed to support it that way. Everything that you buy that happens to have the power cord come out the side at a 90 degree instead of straight out is designed for the ground to be on the bottom. The fact that every socket in this camper has it with the ground on the bottom should tell you that the ground should be on the bottom. So that is fixed now, except I still have to use tape to hold the faceplate on because it still pops off. So along the way, the tongue locked up. I went to put the tongue down and it wouldn't move. I had to monkey with it to finally get it to free up. And this wasn't like it was jammed at the top or bottom, like it got caught. It got halfway through and then stopped. It started making ticking noise halfway through extending and then wouldn't extend. And like everything this company does, tested, they could not reproduce the problem. Send me a new one. That's how you do it. The CO2 detector I fixed, and as you saw in the footage, the wire was cut. And then again, yet another problem with this trailer. I'm trying to get the back off a safety alert device detects if you got propane leaks or the carbon monoxide or whatever it is. I found out the wire's cut. And it's literally cut so short, unless I can get the back off and splice onto that wire, I have nothing really to work with. Look at that. Look at that. Somebody cut the wire because the sensor is defective. Instead of replacing it, they cut the wire. There's certain things that I had to take this whole thing apart to get a new wire ran to the sensor. So I got it all apart, reattached the sensor. I really do think that at this point, the RV dealership saw it was defective when the camper went out because they didn't want to deal with it. They decided to cut the wire because let's face it, if they would have done their walkthrough beforehand, they would have saw it was bad. They chose to let it go out bad. That means more likely they're the ones that made it bad. But they're the ones that cut the wire rather than replacing it so to get the camper out the door. I really feel that's what happened. You saw the issue with the tire. I don't remember that spare hanging down like that. But I looked, it doesn't look like anything's bent. But I could have swore it used to be up flush. I called the dealer, he says no, it's level on all their campers. And I took the tire, I took and spun it all the way around. There's no damage. None. It's not touched the ground. So I'm not sure exactly why that spare tire is now hanging like this. It's cranked all the way up. The metal looks like it was either, I don't see any damage to the metal. Either the metal has tilted, in which case maybe it wasn't bolted on very good. I don't know. It actually maybe isn't any kind of damage and maybe just something coming loose causing it to hang that way. I had to argue with them with the tire. I called Rockwood. Rockwood said no, the tire's supposed to be flat. So they finally go, oh, well, I guess it's bent. We just went ahead and put a jack and pushed it up until it bent it straight. We'll charge you $150 to change it and plus labor, so it'll be about $500. First off, it was never damaged. Now it is because you've shoved a jack under it and cranked it up to straighten it out and just bent it back in place. So at this point, what am I going to do? It's my word against theirs. I'm not even going to worry about it. It's bent. I can't see it's bent. It's underneath the caliper. I don't care. Whatever. Concern regarding charge controller. Charge controller for solar panel is ticking and light won't go off. The A button will not operate. Customer says there's a problem with charge controller. Had several people look at and no problem was found. Seriously? Seriously. I literally told them there's an issue with the A button. I told them the light won't go off. And I said it's making a ticking sound. All that actually started, the A button started when I first got the camper. I wasn't too worried about it because we don't have a second battery bank, so it's not as crucial. But the ticking sound and the light not going off started right after we got back from our trip. I go out to look at the trailer, and the batteries are completely dead. 100% bone dry dead. Now keep in mind this has a solar panel and a charger, and there's no reason the battery should be completely dead, except for the fact that I said the charge controller was defective, right? I actually told them this. I said the things you need to understand why it's defective is, one, it shouldn't tick. Second, the lights shouldn't be on all the time. And third, the A button doesn't work. And if they wanted to verify that that was true or not, all they had to do was go look at any other Geo Pro on the lot and see. Guess what? It doesn't tick, light's not on, and the A button works. And the fact that the batteries were completely dead. And I walk in to see this. And I'm going to portray this literally how it happened. I walk in, and there I see the charge controller like that. And then I see this guy like this. Looks good to me. And I said to him, like this, because at this point I was ready to freaking explode. Well, no. The light is on and you didn't even touch it. That shouldn't be happening. The A button, had you bothered to touch it, you would discover it doesn't work. And maybe the fact that the batteries are completely dead might be a freaking clue, right? They've sent me a replacement charge controller, so I'm going to put that in. That's the kind of service you get from an RV dealership. And the thing is, it's probably not just this dealership, because I've read several people post comments in other forums and even on my videos about how pretty much not to even waste your time taking your RV back into service at the dealer because they're idiots. And of course, as you saw, this number with the keypad clearly did not work. The button doesn't work. See? They're crap, like everything else on this camper. I said it doesn't work when it gets warm. Wintertime, when I took the trailer in, they of course said they can't reproduce the problem, so therefore they did not bother to call in a warranty replacement. They just basically did nothing. Same with the TV. They couldn't recreate the problem with the fact that it won't respond to the remote. And it has nothing to do with batteries in the remote. I'll go to try to do the volume, it won't respond. I'll get up and hit the volume on the TV, and the TV will literally shut off when you hit the volume. All these things are broke, and they did absolutely nothing. There's one last thing. It does look like they did give me a new window shade, so that has been fixed. So that's good. So they fixed that. So out of all my warranty issues, after I chewed them out about the solar charge controller, they sent me a replacement that I can install so I don't have to drive 5 hours there and back, round trip. They fixed the AC outlet, but the front faceplate still pops off. They installed a lift kit that they installed wrong initially, and they fixed the blinds. Everything else they did not fix. So there you go. That's what you get for warranty work on a brand new camper. You're gonna fix it yourself, just expect it. There you go. Don't buy new, just buy used, save 10 grand, buy used, and fix it yourself when it breaks.